Hello and welcome to the Sunday night series. Sim Racing Online is racing with the Super Formula Japan 2024. We are racing with the Formula Renault 3.5 cars, and it's going to be a 6-round series. Let's have a look at the calendar. So all Japanese tracks. We're going to be racing every other Sunday. So a bi-weekly championship. So Fuji Speedway is tonight. In 2 weeks' time we have Suzuka. Then we head to Autopolis, Sugo, Twin Ring, Motegi, and then last round in Okayama just before Christmas. So let's have a look at what we're actually in store for. So race duration is going to be 60 minutes. There is a mandatory pit stop. You can see the points available there: 40, 36, 30 for the podium, and then 28 down to 1 for the remaining places. We are using the Formula Renault 3.5 based in the 2005-2015 era. It took over from the Formula Nippon, I believe. It's still quite a powerful car with 530 horsepower. So tonight we're going to be at Fuji Speedway. It's the modern layout of Fuji Speedway with 16 turns. So no banking on this track, but a really long straight. Lots of drafting opportunities. The tight section out the back from turns 10 to turn 16. They're going to be tough to pass through there. But through the sweeping turns of 2, 3, 4 and 5, there's a possibility for overtaking, if you're brave, of course. So, practice is taking place. Qualifying is going to be about 15 minutes long. And we've got a few people practicing so far. So let's take to the track and see how they're doing. We're running the automated cameras tonight, so I'm not technically picking what to look at. I can actually override it though. So we can have a look at Barrett Ericsson coming out of turn 1. From sector 1, this is a sweeping section. Now there could be passing opportunities. You really need to be really close and dive up the inside coming into this left-hander. We have a short straight coming up. Right-hander down to a hard braking zone for the final twisty section. Tight chicane here. And into the final few turns. Some late apex turns for the final section. And they need a good exit out of this final turn onto the long straight. And the cars should have a varying in downforce setup. So it's going to be up to driver choice what they decide, whether they stick with a high downforce setup so they can keep it tight through the twisties, or do they go for a low downforce setup and compromise the infield, and just hope that they've got enough straight line speed at the end of the straight in order to pass at turn 1. So at the moment, Oliveira is heading the timesheets with a 1:25.134. Take a look at Costas Kanzuras on an outlap. Now I'm intrigued to see what happens with whether people can stay close through some of these tears, particularly out the back of the circuit. I think you've got to be really, really patient, particularly when you get to late apex corners and things. Got to watch for someone diving up the inside. So I think a few people are getting to grips with Fuji Speedway. It's a circuit that we race quite often at Sim Racing Online. So as I say, I imagine that drafting is going to be a really, really big thing tonight. In the first few sections, you can get an overlap, and I think you could possibly go side by side through corners 2, 3, and 4. So I think it's been a while since we've had a Formula series at Sim Racing Online. And I kind of think that this is probably the equivalent of maybe an F2 car nowadays. So you can see the brakes glowing. Lots of hard braking zones on this circuit. So this is Costas' first lap. Let's see what lap time he puts on the board. That's a good first effort, 1:25.7. Not too bad. So look at Ken Jagger putting in some laps. His best lap time is 1:26.653. So he's got some time to find. As I said, it's a 60-minute race, so tyre wear is going to be a little bit of an issue. Although there's only one compound available, it's either dry or wet. We're not actually expecting any wet weather. It's quite a cold 21 degrees and quite a toasty 39.3 track temperature. That's in Celsius. Ed Jones. I'm hoping that I've been able to get some of the team names correct on the overlays. So you can get some of them replaced. It's a good showing for Bad Voices Racing. There's 3 team members in this race. So is this Ed Jones practicing a pit stop? Yep, this is Ed Jones practicing a pit stop. Let's head back to Mate Dexdobler there. On an outlet. About 5 minutes until quali. It's kind of a shame some of the paint jobs look pretty much the same. Lock up into turn 1 now. Pretty much drifting through the apex. Green in sector 1. So this will be his first attempt at a fast lap. At the moment, Oliveira is heading the time sheets for 125.1. So I don't think you want to class row those curves too much. Yeah. Fastest of everyone in sector 2, so he's on the pace. That's our new benchmark, 124.1. So he took a second out of Oliveira in the final sector. So even though he was power sliding through from turn 1, he's found some pace. Now he's got some heat in his tyres. He's found some pace in sector 1 as well. Sector 1 is 19.3. About 3/10 faster than anybody else. Up in sector 2 as well. Quite a lot of wheel spin. I wonder if this is like a practice quali run. Oh, he's not showing his hand. So I'm guessing he's saving that lap for qualifying. Look at it's like on board. These are some of the late apex turns at the end of the lap. Slight oversteer. Not a fan of late apex turns. This is coming in the pits as well. Oh, we join Oliveira just as he has a moment. So it looks everyone's pulled in the pits. So I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a quali in a second. Let's see if it rolls over to quali. It's about time. apologise in advance if I get people's names drastically wrong. So we were supposed to have 11 drivers from the entry list. Unfortunately, we got some either some latecomers or some DNS. Well, rolling over to quali. Rolling over to quali. Let's see what happens. I wonder if draft will come into play if everyone is going out nose to tail. Looks like Dax Skobler is getting out ahead of everybody else. Wants a clear track. I don't blame him. Although it's always good to have someone to chase, I find. As long as they're faster than you, you can got a bit of a benchmark so you can push. Might have to do manual camera switching. I don't know if the automatic camera is switching on its own. Should be right. There's not many people to keep track of, so first flying lap. So you set the pace in practice with a 124 low. Down to turn 1. Ooh, we're leaving some rubber on exit there. It seems to be a very common turn 2 and 3. Up to 4. A tighter line there. I believe that is 5. Short straight. I believe there could be passing up here if you get in the draft into the twisty section. That's a lot of curb there. And then this section, lots of late apex turns. Another one. And turn into the last right-hander. Onto the main straight. No wheel spin. Let's see. So he's aiming for a 124. That's a 123.4, so he went even faster. I think Oliveira is maybe hoping for a draft there. If he's escaped back to the pits, he shouldn't be able to go out again. That is the rules. So Dax Skobler is a 123.4. Robin Taylor puts in a 123.9. Looks like Mate is going for a cool down lap. This is yellow in sector 1. Slight lock up in sector 2, although he's purple. Maybe it isn't a cool down lap. Second sector 25.1. last corner. Let's see if we can actually put together a personal best for the last sector. I mean, the last sector is all of the twisty section. Your second place man, Robin Taylor. Oh, Mate puts it even further out of reach. 123.0. Robin Taylor is coming up. Take the flag. 123.9 is his best. So it looks like a battle at the top in the 123s. Costas Kanzouris is lagging behind a bit with a 124.4. We've got Ken Jagger, a series admin, with a 125.9. Barrett Ericsson's got some work to do with a 127. I don't think Mate is going to improve on this lap. He's not even got a personal best in the first and second sector. Maybe he's concentrating on the third. Oh, gets it all out of shape onto the main straight. That's Costas Kanzouris is done a fastest of all in sector 1. He puts in a 124.4. This is personal best. There's Ken Jagger, 2 personal bests in the first and second and third sectors. 125 dead. So he's getting closer to the top 3. Now that Dax Goldberg has had a relatively untidy last lap. He's now personal best in the first sector, slightly down in the second. The top 2 are separated by the thousandth of a second. I feel there might be a penalty coming for Oliveira, because he didn't head back to the pits in quali, which is one of the rules. So that's probably going to be a time penalty for next round. Not quite, still at 2 hundredths of a second between first and second. As Costas comes in the pits. Really leaning on those tyres. You can see the smoke coming off of them, coming through that fast right-hander. Scobbler's giving it another go. Purple in the first sector. He hasn't got a lot to find. And again, not a personal best in the second. So he's good through the first sector, but loses a bit of time in the second. But he doesn't need an awful lot of time to take pole. Are we actually going to get into the 122s? That's a little bit wide. I think that's blown it. He's probably coming in. Yeah, he's coming in the pits after that. I reckon that was good for pole if he'd kept it going. Here's your current pole man. He's even better in the first sector. Oh, but he spins and he's off. Keeps it going. And he joins the track. Pushing a bit too hard there. Maybe he got excited that he'd got purple in sector 1. So just under a minute to go. We've got Oliveira in pole at the moment. That's Gobler in second, Taylor in third, Kanzouris in fourth, Jagger in fifth, Ericsson in sixth, Jones in seventh, and Carl Straw in eighth. So that's Gobler's in the pits. I don't think he's going to improve. Maybe he's happy with lining up second on the grid. I wonder if Oliveira's going to get another lap in. 11 seconds to go. Yep, he's going to get another lap in. Locking up the tyres at the end of the lap onto the straight. Personal best in the second sector. And is a 1:27.0. So I don't think Oliveira is actually under threat. He's done a purple in the first sector. He's pushing a bit too hard, I think. Pushing a little bit too hard. Right, I think that's quali over. I don't think there's any other cars that can go out and set a faster time. Let's set the starting order and let's have a look at the starting order. So Oliveira gets pole, Dax Gobler is in second, Taylor in third, Kanzouris in fourth. And then we have Jagger in fifth, Ericsson in sixth, Ed Jones in seventh, and Carl Straw in eighth. Let's see if we can actually put on Carl Straw's team name. Right. As they all go out for their warm-up laps. So Carl Straw races for the Apex Quest team. Number 12 today. It's actually in the same car as Kanzouris. Funny how that happens. Have all these wonderful paint jobs, and people will accidentally pick the same ones when they go onto the server. Can't be helped, really. Right, let's see if Carl Straw gets. So this is Oliveira doing some testing out his clutch bite point, I think, on the exit of the pits. I wonder how the stewards are going to look at that. That's Gobler. Just narrowly missed out on pole. I don't think that's going to be a bad thing with the long run down to turn 1. I think if he gets a good start, he'll probably be up the inside. Let's hope, even with 8 drivers on the track, I'm hoping that they all stay relatively close. I don't think people was going to be doing like 123s in the race. Maybe knocking it back a little, because they've got to, whether or not anyone's going to do 2-stop strategy. It's a mandatory pit stop, but it doesn't mean that you have to do just one. Let's have a look at Carl Stroll. As we switch to Ed Jones. There seems to be a lot of favouring the red cars. That seems to be a thing. Unfortunately, this is quite an old mod. It actually comes with the R Factor 2 game, technically. It was made back in the ISI days, and didn't really get an update. A little bit out of shape there. So the team names have updated there, which is good. It's quite a nice paint job. It reminds me of a Sinclair Spectrum. I don't know why. Maybe he's opted for a lower downforce setup. Now this is recognisable, that paint job there. Ah, I remember now. The automated camera loves to do little replays ever so often. So that was a slow-mo of Carl Stroll hitting the barrier. It's going to show it again. But insult to injury, it feels like it wants to rub it in. Right, that's the end of warm-up. And that's a very familiar paint job. Kind of reminiscent of the Renault team of the past. Right, here we go. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. I don't believe there is a formation lap or anything. It should be just green to go. Let's have a look at the front row there. Let's rise. And off we go. Oliveira gets a great start ahead of Mate. He's in the draft. I don't think. Is everyone going to get through turn 1 okay? It looks like they have. Imagine that there's probably a bit of aero wash coming through these sweeping turns. Down to this left-hander, tight on the apex. How hard do you want to push it in these early laps to keep up with the pace of the leader? That's the thing. Have a look back at Ed Jones and Barrett Ericsson, pretty much in the same car there. Very nose to tail on the track as well. see how effective draft is. So 0.5 behind, coming onto the straight. Oh, side by side for the lead. They're not hanging about. A double dip of draft. Is he going to beat him on the brakes? No, he's not. Slight lock up. Oliveira runs a little bit wide. Has to defend coming up to turn 2. Oh, he takes another look, but misjudged the braking coming into that turn. Nearly ran into the back of Oliveira. Looks like there is a bit of airway washed. Oh, that's a late lunge from, I believe that was Katsouris there. I don't think there was ever going to be on a late lunge so early in the race as well. So battle on for the lead. He's up the inside into the final turn. I wonder if he's actually pulling away. Maybe he is running a low downforce setup. Keeping his wheel tracks though. He's not letting. Maybe he's just pacing himself. We have 55 minutes to go. They are very similar on pace. Down into that off camber. There's a little bit of a dip on exit as well. That was a. Maybe that was to put off Stobler ahead. Very close to getting it all wrong. So we head back to Katsouris after his spin. He's making his way back up the field. To 7th. Let's see how effective the draft is. He's pulling out. What was he letting him past? So that's Katsouris up to 6th place. I don't know if he was actually expecting that, but back to Ed Jones, the driver ahead, leaving some real black marks. I don't know whether they're treating this as a sprint race. A couple of different approaches to these late apex turns as well. Got to stay close coming up to the end of the lap. So Ericsson is on Jagger's tail. So Ericsson takes a bit of a tighter line coming into that final turn. Jagger takes a wider entry. Katsouris has Ericsson in his sights on his fight back through the field. looks like Dax Gobbler has pretty much gapped Oliveira at the front. 1.2 seconds in the lead. I mean, Cancerous has the pace to get back up to a podium position here. Looking on the inside of Ericsson. I wonder if Ericsson is going to be as kind as Ed Jones was. I mean, Ericsson is concentrating on Jagger ahead. And you see Costas coming up behind him. Oh, and he heads a little bit wide. I think that was... It's a bit bumpy on the... He's coming into the pits. Is this a different strategy, or is this because of a penalty? Or that's Cancerous up another place to 5th. He's now got Jagger in his sights. You see that Cancerous is taking wider lines. He's taking a little bit of curve. That's the leader off. Oh, second place. That's second place. Or maybe he was pushing a little bit too hard. So Robin Taylor is now up to second. They're all in the 125s at the sharp end of the field. Looks like the top 3 are kind of in a league of their own. I think Cancerous in 5th is fighting his way back up the field as we join Cancerous. Still looking at the back of Jagger's car. He is definitely faster. As Jagger takes that wider line, he does put a bit of rubber down on the exit of the final turn. So this is we're running on the modern Fuji, so the 2005 to the present day. Turn 1, it's very easy to lock up with the unloaded right front. Coming into turn 1. Oh, we look at this is Ericsson after his stop. Coming up behind Straw. So there's no refueling in these cars. So I'm wondering why Ericsson pitted. He didn't fall too far behind, so I'm wondering if that was actually a penalty. To the battle for 4th. I mean, looking at the lap times, Cancerous has a best lap time of 1:25.3. Jagger has a 1:27.2. So even with the time offset, still can't find a way past. Even I guess maybe he's pushing too hard. Go on board. Definitely brakes later in turn 1. He's maybe got to maybe scare Ken Jagger off the road, filling his mirrors. So you can get close through these turns here. He might be able to pop out to the left if he's daring on the brakes, but he's not quite close enough. Up that tyre. Short straight coming up. Is Ken going to defend? He's not. Wasn't late enough on the brakes. He did put Ken off though. Made him go shallow. And then I think it's a matter of just sticking with him the latter part of the lap. getting a good exit onto the main straight. Now the leader's pulled out 3.8 seconds. So Dax Gobbler is kind of running away with it. Puts in the fastest lap time of 1:25.1. We are expecting a mandatory pit stop in this race. This Cancer still can't find a way by. Ken Jagger's not heavily defending, so it's just about. I think 8th plates had a little bit of a spin in the final part of the lap. These cars are coming up to that part of the circuit. Short straight. It's not as close this time. I think to get by coming into this turn, you've got to be really under the rear wing. Again, Ken goes quite shallow into the chicane. So this leaves an opportunity for Kanzurus to stay under the rear wing to get onto the straight. I don't know how effective the draft is. Quite getting as good as exit as he wants, but I think you're probably going to need to be within maybe 0.2 to even be alongside by turn 1. Filling his mirrors. I thought he was going to rear run in then. Oh, a little bit out of shape on the curb. Obviously, tyre wear is going to become a little bit of an issue. As you see, Kanzurus locking up pretty much every turn. It's not going to do his tyres any good. So Dax Gobbler's kind of running away with it. Although Robin Taylor is closing in 3.5 seconds. We are concentrating on this battle here because it is the closest battle on track. So I don't see Ken Jagger actually locking up any tyres or anything, so he's keeping his tyres in good condition. I wonder whether this is going to force Kanzurus' hand. But he's going to have to pit a bit early. Maybe passing through the pit stops. But Ken Jagger has raised his pace to a 1:26.7. As we go on board through these sweeping left, right. So he's trying to be visible in the mirrors to put off Ken. He's closer than he was. I think he's got a chance coming into this turn. He needs to go left. There's going to be no room on the right. Oh, quite an overlap. I think he's now getting a bit frustrated. There's never going to be room there. He needs to duck out to the left-hand side. Coming around that turn. He just needs to stay close until the end of the lap. Must be quite frustrating knowing that you have a faster car, but can't quite get the exits onto the short straights. Now, I believe he's closer than he ever has been. Though slight wiggle onto the straights not going to do him any good. I think he's far too far behind. So after Oliveira's spin, he's now down to third, and he's dropping off. 9.5 seconds. He's on the leader's pace of a 125, but he's still back in third. He's probably annoyed with himself that he had that little spin. And again, he tries to the inside. I think it's going to be a do or die on the brakes, I think, because it doesn't look like he can get close enough on the straight. So it's going to need to be an out braking manoeuvre, I believe. So it looks like Carl Struhl has made a pit stop as well. So Barrett Ericsson and Carl Struhl are the only people to make a pit stop. Let's actually check out the leader. So you can actually see the second place man, Robin Taylor, just behind. We've got a little bit of rubber put down. So he is pushing hard. He's pushing on. We'll see if people are going to do a one-stop strategy for this race or any more than that. But they're all in the 125s, with Ken Jagger in fourth on a 126.7. So I think Robin Taylor must have had a bad lap there because he's dropped back a little. So the field is kind of spread out at the top three. Let's check back with the Jagger and the Kanzuras battle. It's the closest battle on track. Still, I think Ken's... It's going to take a mistake from Ken at the moment. It's either that or it's going to be pit strategy. Whether or not people have practiced their in and out laps. And obviously it being a mandatory pit stop, you have to change tyres. Slight lock up at turn one. So 40 minutes to go. That's Gobler in first, Taylor second, Oliveira in third, Jagger fourth, Cancer is fifth, Jones in sixth, Ericsson seventh, and Struhl in eighth. That was a little bit wide from Cancer's behind. So it looks like Carl Struhl is a lap down after his pit stop. Cancerous needs to regroup. So Oliveira has actually dropped back a little bit more. His last lap was a 127.4, so he's making a few mistakes trying to catch back up, as opposed to the leader, that's Gobler and Taylor in the 125s, who's now 11.8 seconds behind. Quite a tight line coming into turn one. I think that's the tightest apex I've seen someone do. So he goes right out to the curb coming through that right-hander. Takes a lot of curb on the exit as well. A little bit too much curve in the chicane, I feel. The lead is staying pretty much stable. Let's head back to the rear of the field. Ed Jones plugging away. I did say that it was a pity that a lot of people took the red cars, so they're all very similar. They all look very, very similar. We have, I think it's about 10 to choose from, something like that. 10, 15. I don't know if there's any Dutch drivers in the field. There is a bright orange car. So I do believe this is based on the 2006-ish season. Because it became Formula Renault 3.5 in 2005. It now doesn't exist. It's now been blended into F2 and F3. Oh, it looks like Robin Taylor's had a little bit of a spin. I took over from the director there, so he's showing me a replay of the leader in slow motion. I saw someone stopped at the last turn there, and I thought I better switch to them. So that means that Robin Taylor's actually dropped down to 5th place. 6th place. He's pitting. Maybe this is the time for tyres. 36 minutes to go. So Oliveira's gone up to 2nd. Ken Jagger's now 3rd. Kantzouras is 4th. Still this battle for 3rd and 4th now. And they're still locking up tyres. So who's going to pit first? Who's going to be the... who's running out of tyres? I mean, by the looks of it, Kantzouras is running out of tyres. As evidence from a lock-up coming into the chicane. Could this be a fast inlet? Because he's definitely getting held up now. He's diving into these turns. He's probably scrubbing his fronts a lot. Ken Jagger ahead's just keeping it calm and keeping it smooth. Now, was that just Ken just fading to the inside? Maybe faking that he was going to the pits, or maybe he was just looking in his mirrors. So it looks like Oliveira might be pitting soon. First of the leaders to pit. So you gotta. There's no way through there. You can only get through on the left if someone lets you have the space. But Ken's keeping a nice wide line going through that turn. That means that he's slow on exit. Is this his first defence? No, not even a defence, but he did lock up, but he made the chicane. Does look like there's signs of wear on front tyres of Kantzouras there. See the difference in line. Ken seems to get a good wide entry to that turn. He gets a good exit, which means that Kantzouras is left wanting on the straight. Now it looks like Robin Taylor, after his pit stop, he's put in a 1:25.0, fastest lap of the race. So is this going to make the leaders feel like they need to pit? It looks like Oliveira has pitted. Now down to 4th. So let's see what lap times he puts on with fresh tyres. Robin Taylor now 1:24.1, fastest man on the circuit. So Dax Gobler has got to think about pitting, otherwise, although Robin did have a spin on his in lap, he would have been right with the leader. Maybe that's why he's not feeling like he needs to pit. Ed Jones and Robin Taylor in 6th. Let's see if he can fight his way back up the order. So here's our leader. He's coming up to lap the 8th place car of Carl Struhl. There we go. In the pits comes our 3rd place man. Finally getting a fresh set of boots. And Ed Jones pits behind him. That was a very short stop. And Oliveira is going to pass them both in the pits. Back up to 3rd. Right, let's see if Kansouris can put in some fast lap times and beat Ken. So Ken did the last lap time of 1:27.2. So let's see what Kansouris can do. His new fastest lap of on his new set of tyres. A bit wide there. Now Barrett Ericsson, maybe he's going for a 2-stopper. Wonder how that's going to work out. As I say, I wonder if it was a penalty because he pitted very, very, very early. Looks like Ken Jagger's in the pits. And so is Carl Struhl. So Ken Jagger is exiting the pits. Right in front of Kansouris. I think Kansouris is going to get him. Yep. Kansouris beat him through the pit stops. I think he was pretty much sick to death of the back of that car. So bang on 30 minutes. Ken Jagger's now got new boots. Second and third are quite close. So Oliveira and Robin Taylor. Obviously, Robin Taylor pitted a bit earlier than Oliveira. He's right on his tail, just out of camera shot. And Robin Taylor does have the pace. He's in the 120. He's the only car in the one. Well, saying that, Oliveira's upped his pace to 1:24.5. So both on similar pace. Although Robin Taylor's put in a best lap time of 1:23.9. The battle is on for second place. I think Robin is ruining that he actually had that spin. Because I think he would be a definite second place, if not a battle for the lead. It looks like everybody has pitted. The leader is the only car that has not pitted. I hope he remembers the mandatory pit stop. Maybe he's thinking that he doesn't need to. He's got a lead of 46 seconds. He's going to probably leave it until late as possible. So we can have fresh tyres up until the end. He's doing 125s. So pretty much on the pace of second and third. Robin Taylor has chase on his hand. He's getting closer to Oliveira. I don't know if Oliveira can actually put in a 123. That's a 124.7 with Robin behind doing a 124.5. So similar pace. Is this going to be the same deal with like Ken Jagger and Costas Kanzouras? I think Oliveira's tyres are a couple of laps younger. Dax Cobbler finally gets into the pits as the second and third are rounding the final turns. Has he left it too late? So second and third are just coming through the final two turns. How much pace is it? Oh, as Robin gets it all wrong. It's Carl Straw. This is probably a moment. Oh, he gets it all wrong. Is this going to be contact? Oh, it is contact. Has he still got his front wing? I think he's still got his front wing. Still got his front wing. And it looks like Mate Dax Cobbler just got out in the lead. 10 seconds. The director loves double tapping these replays. I think we cut away from Robin Taylor. He was having a moment. He's dropped back from Oliveira by about 3 seconds. And he's now in the 125.6s. I wonder if he's pushed too hard too early. So Ken Jagger pretty much on his own now. Now he's not got a car filling his mirrors. So Ken Jagger on new tyres is doing 126.5. It's Carl Straw coming in the pits. So it's probably a repair job. He took a fair old whack to the barrier. I'm surprised he's still got a front wing, to be honest. He's now, unfortunately, 3 laps down. And Taylor in third, still trying to chase down Oliveira. I think his push might have stopped. They're both of very, very similar pace. The field is spread out a little bit. It is the closest battle on track. Look at the sweepers burning up those tyres. It's going to take a little bit of a mistake from Oliveira, I think. 24 minutes to go. Who's going to be suffering at the end of the race? I'm seeing a varying in lines, and it's just, I don't know, driver preference, but it doesn't seem to be gaining or losing. Some people take wider lines, some people A bit closer to the apex. I'd also be keen to hear whether what kind of downforce packages people are running, because you can customize your downforce package. Whether or not some people have gone for a high downforce package so they can be planted through the twisty sections and suffer on the straight, or the opposite. A bit of a lock up coming into that left-hander there. So Dax Dobler is disparate in 2 purple sectors, so he's not hanging about, even though he's got a 13-second lead. Maybe he wants to stretch it out even further, give himself a bit more of a cushion. So he's fastest of anyone in the first sector. Fastest of anyone in the second sector. So this should be a best lap time. That's a 1:23.8. So that beats Taylor's lap time by about a tenth. No one to be seen in his mirrors though. He pretty much it was about a tenth, a hundredth off pole, and it looked like he had a couple of tries at beating the lap time at the end of the session, but settled for second, and it looks like pretty much was the right decision. He watched Oliveira in the early laps, but then capitalised on a mistake and is not looked back. As I say, this is a 6th round championship. It's basically emulating the Super Formula series. So it's all Japanese tracks. So Fuji today. We'll be heading to places like Autopolis, Suzuka, Sugo, Twin Ring, Motegi. And I'm sure there's one more. Okayama is our last round. 2 days before Christmas. So both Oliveira and Robin Taylor are in the 124s, but they're both of similar pace, so they're not really gaining on each other. So Oliveira is able to hold a really tight line. So maybe he's running a higher downforce package. Coming into the last sector, which I find a bit of a what they call Mickey Mouse. It just goes left, right, left, right, left, right. It just seems a very I don't know. It's very hard to. You really have to stay right under the rear wing in this final section to have any hope of being on and coming onto the straight and being in the car's draft. Feel. So 1.7 seconds. You've got to be within about 0.7 of the car in front to even get any wisps of draft. And as we saw with Jagger and Kanzuras, even 0.4 coming onto the straight, he's still unable to get an overlap. But Robin is still pushing on. As you can see him in the background there. It's pretty much letting the leaders, or letting the leader rather, who's not not slowing down by any means. He's pushing on with a 1:23.8. 14-second lead. Everyone has made one pit stop. Robin Taylor is within 1.2 at the end of the lap. I mean, you can see the car he's chasing, which I always find a bit easier. I feel like he's maybe not taking a wide enough line coming out of the exit of the turn, last turn there, to get a good. He's now within 1 second. Is the car ahead kind of thinking of breaking the draft? I don't think draft is very strong. Stay on board with Robin as long as we can. Coming up to the fast sweeping section. That's a lot of curb. Keeps it pinned through 3. Has to fade out at the throttle a little. Down into this off. It feels like it's off camber. There's a big dip on the exit. Short straight. He's definitely closer. Coming up to the chicane. A wide line into the chicane. Hits the apex. Pretty much nails the chicane. Nice bit of curb, a slight bit of oversteer on exit. He's now within 0.9 coming onto the straight, so he's definitely pushing in these last 16 minutes or so. Slight tighter line coming in. I think Oliveira ahead had a wider line. He's now within 0.4. This is the closest that Robin's ever been. The draft is working. I think Oliveira thought about defending. Is Robin going to be able to put him off ahead? Closest battle we got on track. Oh, it's all come undone. I thought he was pushing. That's a shame. Because he was just getting on terms. That was the closest that Taylor had ever been. And he has a spin coming out. I think he must have just touched a wheel on the grass there. And just sent him round. And insult to injury, he didn't engage a reverse gear. And gave the barrier an extra nudge. So early on, Kantzuris had... he was pretty much in the top 3, but an earlier accident took him off the podium. And he's had to fight his way back through the field. He's now up to 4th. Which means he's very close to Taylor, who's only 2.4 ahead. You can see him. So Kantzuris has got someone else to chase. Whether or not this is just the same as the battle he had with Jagger, where it was pretty much a stalemate, even though there was a pace difference. Couldn't quite get the overlap. I'm wondering whether Kantzuris is going to have a new tactic with Taylor ahead. I wonder how the tyres feel on Taylor's car. They're probably a couple of flat spots there. That was a half spin. Probably feels terrible. I was thinking that maybe in this latter half there might be a 2-stopper. But like everyone is just 1-stopping. And the rest of the races calendar are varying in types of circuits. So you've got places like Suzuka, which are pretty much similar to here. A lot more opportunities to pass, with many long straights and sweeping corners. And then you have places like Okayama, which is a little bit shorter. Very short straights. And then you have places like Sugo, which are very tight. Now Dax Gobbler has pulled out his lead to 20 seconds. I think Oliveira must have had a spin, because his last lap was a 1:30.1. And it's kind of lucky, really, because Robin Taylor would have been passed, but if it wasn't for that spin. There's a car spinning in the background. I think that's Car Stroll. Let's see what happened. Just got on the loud pedal a bit too hard in that final corner. And round it goes. Bonk. Not a good place to spin it. So I think that Kanzuras can sense that a podium is on here. I believe he had a podium all sewn up if it wasn't for that accident early on. He's not leaving anything on these tyres though, smoking the tyres through these long sweeping turns, but he runs a little bit wide, pushes a bit too much. Maybe the tyres are giving way. Locking up coming into the chicane's not going to do them any good. Meanwhile, Dax Gobbler is 20 seconds in the lead and still doing 1:24.9. He comes up behind a 7th place. That must be Barrett Ericsson ahead. As we drop back to Kanzuras, regrouping. Has he got enough time? There's only 10 minutes to go. He's got 10 minutes to close 2.7 seconds. But even if he closes, is he going to be able to get past? Seems to be knocking up quite a lot. His tyres probably feel very second hand. And it might take a little bit of a mistake from Robin ahead. We've seen Robin make a couple of mistakes. So last lap time for Robin was a 1:26.5. Kanzuras was a 1:27 dead. So they're coming to the end of tyre life in the final 10 minutes of the race. Yeah, the tyres squealing. Pretty much giving up. Maybe Dax Gobbler has found the secret. He's been able to keep in the 1:24s and 5s this entire race. Down to 2.4. There's that little speck in the distance. You can see Robin and that little speck in the distance. Down to 2.0. Maybe this is a push lap. Or is Robin run out of tyres ahead? I mean, 8 minutes is a long time. Probably got, what, 6 laps left? Maybe less. Lead is out to 22 seconds. This is the closest battle on track. Kanzurus and Robin Taylor. There's Robin. Now, we've not seen anyone really do any defensive shakes. When people have got close, no one's needed to defend. Slightly wide in turn 1. The gap's now down to 1.6. This could be a very measured, drive. Let's see if we've got any. I was hoping to have a. There we go. So we can see Kanzurus behind. He's getting closer. Visually, looks like he's getting closer. Down to 1.5. So these are the closest cars on track. Pat Scrobbler is meanwhile making his way through, lapping 6th place. Slightly wide in turn 1 again, but no locking of tyres. Gap is still around 1.4. He's definitely catching, but by tenth, I think he might run out of time. I don't think. Ooh, is this another spin? It's another spin for Stroll. Whereabouts on the circuit is that? That's another loud pedal job. That's another spin. Thankfully it's all concrete and no gravel trap. So good, I think the director wants to look at it twice. And it actually looks like Stroll is stopped on the circuit as well. It's now got going again, I believe. It's finding these cars very, very tough. Back to Kanzurus. It's dropped to 2.3. Is the challenge over? With just over 4.5 minutes to go. Has the run stopped? Has he now settled for 4th? As I say that, locks tyres. This is pushing on. And this is Carl Stroll in the pits. I'm wondering if there is a damage to that car. Yeah, it's putting up on the jacks. A set of new boots. Ken Jagger all out on his own in 5th place. His van had a very solid drive. As Carl Stroll exits the pits. Coming out just in front of 7th place there. It does look like many people are spaced out there. It looks like the leader, Dats Gobbler, was pushing on. He's got a 27-second lead. Is he trying to build a gap for a pit stop? I don't know why. He could pretty much take it easy with his final 3 minutes. No need for him to rush. Pretty flawless. Last lap was a 1:24.5, so he's been able to keep the pace up. To Kanzura, still pushing on. He had a bit of a rubbish lap in the last lap, 1:26.1, so made a little bit of a mistake. I think the challenge is over. The gap is now down to 4.7. 2.5 minutes to go. I think this must be 2 laps to go at the line. Again, I think Robin Taylor could have expected a bit more if it wasn't for those spins early on in the race. He was really in for a shout for at least the top 2. He had the pace for the top 2. And into the closing stages. It's Ericsson all on his lonesome. Another red car, another red car, another red car. I'll see if I can get get them to choose different ones for the next round. They're all the same car, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's Ken Jagger crossing the line for his penultimate lap. Kanzura's last lap was 1:26.8. He's obviously given up. His tyres are not in the best condition. He's been pushing this entire race, trying to make up for that mistake early on. There's Ed Jones. I think the car behind is the leader. That is indeed the leader. He lets the leader through. They can pretty much slow down in this final section and cross the line in first. 22 seconds to go. I believe this is the final few corners. Let's see what this race director wants to stick with. Exits the final corner with no, it's not the final corner. Penultimate corners. It looked like the final corner. This is the final corner. Time has run out, so Dax Gobbler started second, but he's going to come across the line first. He's pretty much kept the pace up the entire race. Crossed the line first. Here's Oliveira, pole man. He should cross the line in second. Indeed, he's still waiting for second place to come across the line. Second and third are very, very close together, but not enough to trouble anything. Is this donuts? This is indeed donuts. Donuts. Anyone who orders some donuts? I think he's a bit pleased with that win. He's a bit pleased. And so he should be. He was on fast the entire race. He didn't really put a foot wrong. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Right, let's check the order. I believe we just got one car to cross the line, but it shouldn't change the finishing order. There we go. Look at the results. So, Mate Daxdobler gets first win of this series. Started second, ended up first. Poleman Oliveira finishes in second. Robin Taylor fights back to third. I think there was more for Robin this round, if not for the spins. Kantzuris, again, another driver that could have fought back to get on the podium, but dropped down early on with a coming together with another driver through the first 3 turns, and was always on the back foot. Ken Jagger 5th, Ed Jones in the 6th, Ericsson in the 7th, and Carl Stroll bringing up the rear in 8th. Well, what a race! What a race! So, next round is in 2 weeks' time, where we head to Suzuka. So more of the same. Big, long, straight, twisties. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like with these cars up to 130R. It's going to be very, very, very tough through the twisty sections of at least the first sector. But once the cars stretch their legs into the second. And as I say, this is a 2-week bi-weekly championship. So every 2 weeks we'll be heading to a Japanese track. So Suzuka in 2 weeks' time on the 27th of October. Then we head to Autopolis, Sugo, Motegi, and then we round out 2 days before Christmas at Okayama. So I hope you've enjoyed the action. I certainly have. The field actually spread out a little nearer the end. There was some very, very close battles. It seemed to be, even though you would have the pace, you really had to get under the rear wing and take a stab up the inside. But will Suzuka be any different? Will Suzuka be any different? I should hope so. So, let's hope for more drivers next round. I will hopefully give them a prod and say, can you use some more paint jobs to make it easier for us to tell who's who. And we'll see what happens in the next race. So anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. It's been real. This is my first go back at broadcasting racing rather than being in the cockpit. It's very interesting to see it from trackside. And thankfully there wasn't many drivers to keep track of today. That's usually quite tough. But I was able to, I've got a track map and everything. I was able to see some things going on. So thankfully we'll have that in place next time. And I'm hoping some of the teams and things appeared on the overlays, because I managed to get some of those done before race start. So yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. I'm going to be next streaming, probably maybe do a midweek stream. I've probably got some work going on this week, but I'll definitely be back probably in the cockpit next week, because we'll be back with the WEC championships and things like that. So next week is going to be the WEC championship. I can't remember the track. Maybe we're at Fuji. No, we're at Le Mans. So Le Mans is a 2.4 hour race. And thankfully there's not going to be any wet weather. So let's hope that I can get my Audi R8 GT3 near the top 5. But we will see. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.